Well, hello and good evening, everyone. It's good to see you again. It is good to be seen by you again. And remember, I did warn you guys that the holiday season would get crazy and there would just be a lot of, oh, I don't know what's going to happen with streaming on these given nights. And well, that's what you get. But who am I? You might ask. And you might because, my gosh, since we last streamed, I think 15 of you have joined up for this mayhem, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. We're at 5155 on the sub counter, and that is just so delightful, guys. Thank you so very much. But I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver. That's right, that Dungeon Delver. And I'm glad you're all here. And I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful evening. And of course, I want to remind you that this stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde makes the games that they'd like to play, whether it's for Castle Crusades, for 5th edition, or for the OSR. Old School is in play at the table with Hellebarde, and you can check them out at DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardegames.com. So thank you all very much. Give them a look. They will really, really appreciate it. And if you like this video we're doing, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you like about it. And I'll do more of it. And if you don't like it, leave a thumbs down and leave a comment below and tell me what you didn't like. And I'll do less of that. Or at least I'll try to. Michael Dale, hello. Yeah, we blew past 5150 this weekend. I was like, hey, funny. And before I could get a screenshot, it just went right past. So that happens. But anyway, so yeah, I'm glad you're all here. I don't know what this week's got in store. I know we're today, tomorrow, and Wednesday at the very least. Thursday and Friday, I make no promises about. Okay, I make zero promises about, guys, because it's just it's the holidays and the weekend or the week following. Yeah, the week following may just be static. Will I do another Christmas Eve show the Sunday before Christmas? It's possible. I'll just have to see. Look, what I'm saying is I get in this time of the year and discipline just goes out the door. Am I going to wake up Kyle for Wednesday? Sure. I actually have a gig on Wednesday afternoon that will take, I believe it'll be noon to 3 for me. I'll have to check, but it shouldn't impact anything that we do Wednesday of this week. No, December is a busy time, GM Jacko. I'm just glad I can spend some of it with you guys. And I've been spending a lot of it with you guys with the Do Dragao Advent Dice Calendar. Not sponsored, guys. Not a sponsorship, not a paid advertisement. But it's just awesome stuff. I love their dice. And we've been opening those. You can check them out. They're just short videos. It won't kill you to watch them as we unbox the Christmassy dice that they've sent along this year, and they're absolutely adorable, and I really enjoy them. So big thumbs up to Dujugal. Now that Mrs. the Dungeon Delver actually bought me the dice set. She purchased that for me. So it's, like I said, it's not a paid advertisement or anything. I have to say these things. Lest I get in trouble with the powers that be. But anyway, I want to mention something. Speaking of getting in trouble, someone reached out to me, and I really appreciate it. This is not a scolding. This is not a taking y'all to the woodshed, anything. It's good. It is great that you guys will reach out. Look, my preferred method of content is that you reach out to me on email. Like, if I'm hammering, I will get to your emails eventually. But if I'm working during the day, PMs, Discord messages, stuff like that, it just drives me bonkers sometimes. more bonkers. But anyway, someone was kind enough to ask me about something that they had found, something Dungeons and Dragons in PDF format that they had found out on the internet, and said, hey, can I share this with a Discord group? And I really appreciate the individual in question. I'm not going to say what, I'm not going to say who, because that's not really the subject of the discussion. I really, really appreciate them reaching out to me rather than just doing it. Because what they had asked about was something that is still sold by Wizards of the, or by Drive-Thru RPG for Wizards of the Coast. You can buy it. You can buy it. And just a reminder, as I have always said, if it's like, let's just say, for example, hey, here's the I know you were deep diving the orange B3. I found the green B3 on insert sketchywebsite.com here. Can I share this link? No, do not. We can dislike Wizards of the Coast with the very fiber of our being, but what I am not going to do is facilitate the theft of intellectual property that belongs to someone else that they want to get paid for. Disliking a corporation with all the intensity of 1,000 Suns is far different from let's go commit crimes against them. Because a corporate policy that I dislike, or that you dislike, or that any of us dislike, is absolutely a thing that we can raise up our fists in protest against, but we don't break the law. Period. Now, here's the thing. Here's what you can share. If somebody had said, hey, you did a deep dive on Orange B3, I found Orange B3 on the internet. Can I share that link? Absolutely. You know why? Because Orange B3 is unobtainium. They don't sell a PDF of Orange B3. They don't sell a PDF of WinterCon Lost Caverns of Sojkanth. They don't sell a, just go down the list and insert super. They don't sell a pastel Ghost Tower of Inverness. They don't sell a tourney version of Lost Temicon. Okay. Stuff that is not, will not ever be available. Guys, that's fine. Because otherwise, nobody's losing money and you're never going to see it. All right. Who has the rights to TSR's Warriors of Barsoom? Or Warriors of Mars? I can't remember which it was. The TSR published for like 5 minutes before, guess what? They got in trouble for distributing somebody else's IP because the estate of Edgar Rice Burroughs was still very active at the time. Good evening, Ms. Bella Games. So, that's something that's just out there. If you share that with someone like on the Discord or something, I'm essential. It's like that, let it go. All right. There's no legal entity that's going to stop you from distributing that. The Burroughs estate, it has been more than enough time since the Edgar Rice Burroughs book started to slip into public domain. I'm not a lawyer. Don't quote me on any of this stuff. By the way, don't say, but some fat beard on the internet said I could do this. What do you mean you're suing me? But here's the simple litmus. If you can buy it, whether it is from Drive-Thru RPG or directly from a distributor's website, don't share it around. If it is pure unobtainium, I don't mean in your opinion. I mean completely just there are no copies for sale. You can't go to a store, you can't go to a website and buy it. Then do that. So just a reminder, one thing I do want to point out, I have 5 D&D modules that are free that you can download from my Google Drive. I've shared the links so many times, guys. Ask somebody else. But the links are out there. WGH2, Temple of the Sun, WGH 3, 4, and 5, and DD1 and DD2. That's 5 first edition AD&D modules. But I have gotten some published modules out there. The version of Temple of the Sun that I published with Hellebard Games. Lost Crypt. What else? Elemental Moon. If I ever catch you swapping pirated copies of my stuff that's for sale, you're done. You're finished. I have 5 free AD&D modules out there, guys. 5 free ones. An entire campaign in there. In 3 of the modules. You are more than welcome to have them for free. Temple of the Sun from Hellebard Games. Lost Crypt. Elemental Moon. I catch you sharing pirated copies out. You're done. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear. Here's the problem. Orbital Air, you bring up a good point. You would think TSR, and I think you probably mean Wizards of the Coast. They could get mint primo scans of old modules. They could if they wanted to spend the money for it. The process of preparing modules for proper scanning and retypesetting, they don't just take them and lay them down on the Brother printer copier scanner doohickey. If these are properly done, they're sent to a print shop. They have to be cut into pieces. They have to be cut into individual sheets. They will give you a PDF of the scan they did and return the pieces of your scan to you if you volunteer it to Wizards of the Coast to scan. If you had a copy of Lost SogeConf, would you want it cut to pieces? No, and nobody does. And Wizards of the Coast is not going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 for D&D rares to scan and then put up for sale. Now, there was a question about, I don't know, Vaughn, their print-on-demand thing, I don't know. That's a fine question. But something else to mention, Vaughn had asked about, hey, what if it's on Internet Archive, though? On archive.org. If it's on archive.org and it is still being sold by DriveThruRPG or by other companies, don't download it off archive.org. Because I promise you, Wizards does not want their material on archive.org. I promise you they don't. So that's just a different different spout that the same flavor water is coming out of. Yeah, Deep TRPG Pod is just thumped in the head. It really is. I honestly, guys, if you have the PDFs, and I've seen lots of the PDFs, just switch on print on demand. Partner with Lulu. I mean, I bought a player's handbook a 1E Player's Handbook on print on demand. 3 to 6 weeks. I have absolutely no hope that it will be here by Christmas. None whatsoever. This is going to have to be here's a winter gift for you. Why they don't just switch on print on demand across the board. T-shirted historian. How are you, Sensei? It's good to see you. My God, we have been out of contact for forever. Liking each other's posts and liking each other's videos and so on. But I feel like it's, oh my gosh, it's good to see you. Thank you for being out there in the crowd. But anyway, so I hope that answers the question. I hope that answers the question of what's kosher and what's not. Look, if it's unobtainium that's just freely available out there, that's neat. That is absolutely neato. If it's stuff that you know is for sale somewhere, I don't care if it's free over here. If it's for sale over here, don't circulate it around my social media circles. I will be vexed if you do that. Because I don't need the heat. I absolutely don't need the heat. But I was asked about it. Okay. You know, it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. No, it's not. The people who promulgate that lie have never been in enough trouble. So I greatly, greatly appreciate that my permission was asked before that was done. So, I mean, think about it. All your friends are going to a store that is badly run and shoplifting is rampant. And you go to your parents and say, look, I know stealing isn't good, but this store is really badly run and you don't really like that store. Can I steal from them? No, you can't. One E Ravenloft module just shipped from drive-through. Don't know when one E Unearthed Arcana will be shipping. I wish I could help you guys with that. And I mean, honestly, I'm not sure what the status. I gotta put my glasses on. I can hardly see what you guys are saying. I've heard that like DT or that Lulu like has stopped letting people send obvious RPG books to them because people were sending pirate RPG books for them to pirate. But I don't know. And that's something that could be an income stream. Buy your book on DTRPG for $14.99. Go to Lulu for $20 and get a hard copy. You know? I don't know. I just want the world to be awesome. Speaking of things in the world, this is sort of gaming adjacent. Because I did say I would bring you guys some tabletop news. This is sort of gaming adjacent. One of the great talents of science fiction, and one of the earlier, not the earliest, I would say the earliest, well, we can have that discussion later, but one of the great talents of science fiction passed away yesterday. David Drake passed away. And let me see if I can. David Drake was a veteran of the U.S. conflict in Vietnam. He wrote probably well over 100 novels and short stories, if not more. Mr. Drake was a pioneer in the field of hard military science fiction. His primary focus that most people know him about is, of course, the Hammers Slammers series, which deals with a mercenary unit in the 30th century, not 30th millennia, 30th century, that springs up out of a sort of foreign legion raised up by a planet to put down a trade union rebellion. And when they realize that they have been lavishly equipped and expected to be nothing more than rich boy paper officers, that they have a military that can rival most planets in the sector of explored space that they occupy. And once their employers realize that they've created a Frankenstein's monster that they cannot control, they attempt to put them down. The Slammers first contact the Mercenary Bonding Authority, which is a guild of mercenaries, which is described as being the only corporation with more firepower than the Slammers. And they have been known to sanction entire planets for reneging on contracts. Sanction meaning in the worst possible way. They set out to hire themselves out as the most ruthless and bloodthirsty mercenaries in the entire galaxy, and they set out to do just that. Now, David Drake, he put a lot of his observation of the world into his Hammers, Slammers stories. As I said, it was hard military SF, which means a very direct focus on military activities, formations, and so on. The first book, which came out in 1979, titled simply Hammers, Slammers, had full TOE, tables of organization and equipment. It also discussed the technologies behind the Slammers, fusion-driven, iridium-hulled hover tanks, power guns, so on, and etc. Why society in the larger galaxy was the way it was, and it all came down to, or rather, would all come back to, the Slammers will get the job done if you have the money, and you'd better not skimp on paying. The Slammers were known to be bought by Side A, win a war for Side A, and then Side B of the same war raise enough money to hire them and win the war right back for them. And they did it because they were utterly, utterly amoral. Some of the technologies that David Drake discussed, such as power guns, physics studies since the 1970s when he started writing the books, and later on years, disproved. Some of the technologies were incredibly prescient. The relative short lifespan of TAC air on the forward edge of the battle area, smart munitions that could be fired from artillery dozens, if not hundreds of kilometers away, that could break into submunitions and target individual tanks and destroy them from many thousands of feet in the air. One in particular that when I first read as a kid and then later saw coming true were defensive strips. Defensive strips on tanks were radar-controlled explosive blocks that when an anti-tank missile was fired at one of Slammer's tanks, the defensive strip would go off and blow up the missile mid-flight. Well, when I read that in the early 1980s, I thought, what bourgeois, what science fiction? APS is a very, very real emergent technology now. And there's one beat that Mr. Drake absolutely did not miss. One thing that has remained as true today as it was in 1979 when he put fingers to keyboard, and that is man's propensity to slaughter itself over the most ridiculous of reasons. Slammer's stories were invariably grim. They dealt with the ugliness of war. This was no Dudley Do-Right laser guns and energy swords. This was often very bloody, morally gray dealings with war. Drake served in Vietnam. a place where there was no front line and there were no good guys and bad guys. And he reflected it very, very, very acutely in the Hammer Slammers stories. He served with armored units and cavalry units, and he saw how effective properly supported armor could be even in densely packed jungle, which is why he translated the M48 and M60 tanks and the ACAV, the M113 outfitted with 3 machine gun turrets, into vehicles for the Hammer Slammers universe. They became 200-ton fusion engine powered, power gun armed tanks and air cushion armored vehicles, ACAV. And Mr. Drake's work eventually did come to the tabletop, and there is a traveler supplement for the Hammer Slammers universe if you wish to incorporate such into your tabletop. Nonetheless, I do recommend checking out his work. At the very least, pick up the titular book Hammer Slammers and give it a read. I promise you, you will come away with a new appreciation of military hard science fiction and the works of Mr. Drake. Again, 72 years old. Thank you for your service, David Drake. May you rest in peace. So that we salute Mr. Drake and hope he found peace eventually. Anyway, so that's for RPG news. Now, I know one thing, I had talked to you guys about this. I had mentioned that I was going to do like a paid stream, just kind of an open paid stream, and paint up. I can't reach her. Well, you know what? I'll bring her back in just a minute. Paint up Holiday Sophie for you guys on stream. I'm gonna do that this Thursday, if I'm being honest with you. It may be a late night stream, but I am going to do that for you this Thursday. That's it. We're going to paint up late. We're going to paint up Holiday Sophie late night. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, let me bring this up here. There, the holiday towel view, and Sophie the succubus. She's upside down. Sophie the succubus. She is the mascot for Reaper Miniatures. And I got this when it was new in 2003. So she has been waiting more than a minute to have some paint put on her. So I think we'll probably do that this Thursday. And we'll talk holiday preparations and so on. And hopefully that'll be something that you guys enjoy seeing happen. I hope I won't make... Let me tell you what. When Bill T sees how I can paint Vaughn, trust me, he's not going to be jealous. Guess what day it is, guys? Guess what day it is? Do you guys know what day it is? I know what day it is. Do you guys know what day it is? Nope. It is Mail Call Monday. That's right. We got mail today. It's on the other side of the table, so I'm going to actually have to get up and walk over there and get it because, hey, preparation for show. Was ist los? So I'm gonna dip over yonder because I didn't get those extendo arms. I didn't get the Dr. Octopus manipulator arms, so I can just reach up and grab stuff installed for Christmas this year. Maybe it is for you, Wave. So I'm gonna get our cool thing and I'm gonna show it off. So you guys hang on just a second, and I will pick them up. Ta-da! A little early Christmas present. And where is this from? Gaxland, 147 Baker Street. And shipped to Bill Sylvie. I'm a little disappointed it doesn't say the Dungeon Delver, but anyway, let's take a look at what we got. From Gaxland today. There's no package here. You're crazy. You didn't see anything. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to gaxlate you. Anyway. So let's take a look here. And see what we got. Curse you, Eric, and your excellent boxing capabilities. And see what's in the box. What's in the bag? Did I just slice my hand open? Nope. I would have a long time ago, though. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't great. T-shirt. I'm sorry, it wasn't great. He's not a tape fiend, fortunately, is it? Okay, there we go. So we have it here. Oh my goodness, guys, this stuff is too cool. I will put this up. I will bring this up on Holiday Cam, you guys. This is so cool. My gosh, this is like the deluxe package. Oh wow, this is so boss. This is so boss. All right, first of all, box of cool stuff, and let's see what we got. First in the box, let's go over here. Let's go pull this up. And I don't have a filter on this camera. Gaxland Storyteller's Dice. It's this lovely tin of dice, presumably. Let's open that up and let's see what we got. Yes, these are RPG goodies. So, I love tin box. I can never bring myself to throw away a tin box. Oh, wow. Look at these, guys. Look at the... You can't yet. Look at those. Look at those dice. Those are beautiful. Those are gorgeous, gorgeous dice. Let's see. Let's roll one. An 11. Nice mid-range. I love these dice. These are to die for. Ha ha! Even though it only comes with one die for. I'm not going to stop. All right, so that's the Storyteller's Dice. And what else do we have in here? Okay, we have this doodad. I remember what that... I'm holding it out to the camera like you can see. What number goes over the logo? I don't know. We'll have to check that out. But we have the little vial of crystals. Check that out. That is a little crystal vial, or rather a little glass vial with blue crystals in it. This is what we used to call, back in the day, and I got to hand it to Heidi and Eric. Back in the day, when you would get an Infocom game, let me see. This is just a for example kind of thing. I have here, there's no disc in it, unfortunately. This is my copy of Infocom's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Screw You Gamer for the Commodore 64. But Infocom games, because they didn't have graphics, would lavish upon the players feelies, which were cool little things in the box. And because this is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of course, we have, what do we have in here? This is not a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game unboxing, but we have the order for destruction of your home, which if you're Arthur Dent, that's very important. The Jujanta 2000 peril-sensitive sunglasses. Note these are always black. I think that's very appropriate for the year. I have lost a couple. I have misplaced a couple. The Order for Destruction of Planet from the Vogons. Now, I do have my orange Don't Panic button. It's just not in here. But I have the Microscopic Space Fleet. And I used to have a little envelope with a fluff, which was just like a flattened cotton ball kind of affair. But that's Infocom used to do things like that. And what was the purpose of it? Just to be cool. Just to have cool stuff. But Heidi and Eric, in their deluxe Kickstarter backer thing that I have here, they have feelies. And so we have feelies. So we have a business card and a pen from them, but we also have, let's see. Yeah, I don't think I ever finished one without a hint book. All right, so let's go back. So we have the United States Government Guardian Operations Director, God, Special Agent. So we have that. Nothing on the back there. Very nice, very lovely. Let me just put this over here. Okay, what else do we got? We have, now this is boss. This is really, really boss here. Made in China, of course, but this is the Lens of Detection. The Lens of Detection. Guardian Operations Director, Artifact 07271938, Lens of Detection. By the way, if you know 0271938, what that is significant, please leave it in the comment below, and I will get you a gift. First person to get that right now. You know what? I'm just going to run a mental timer here. You got 60 seconds. Somebody, if you know what 07271938 means, I'll send you something special. I'll send you something show related. Oh my God, Death Angels. Death Angels got it. Death Angels, I'll find something cool here in the Delvers studio, and I will get you that. My gosh, Death Angels was like landed on it like Speed friggin' Racer. Okay. Now I'm not sure how much the rest of the stuff is going to show up because the camera is fairly close. We're going to check this out. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so let's come back over to the studio view. So we have this cool manila envelope looking dealy here. Top secret. This is Guardian Operations Director, U.S. Government Classified Documents and Photograph. 18 5x7 photograph, 47 paragraph, 22 hours, 3. And they put me on the bench in Group W. Father stabbers, mother grabbers, mother stabbers, father grabbers. And you know why I can't say that word. Okay, so let's see. So we have the full dare, which I'll try and show a little bit of it on the cam, which I don't know how good that's going to come in. Let's see. You can kind of see what it's like there. You can kind of see what it's like there. You get the Shadows logo there, and top secret, which of course on your screens is bottom secret. All right. All right, so what else do we got? We have the Cracker Jacks in the box of prizes. We have the module Shadows over Lake Geneva, first fabulous issue. And yes, it looks like a pulp magazine. How friggin' cool is that? We talk about how cool it is to make old D&D, or make adventures look like old D&D adventures. This is pretty boss. This is a pulp magazine kind of thing. So let's see. The Beast of Bray Road. Yeah. Oh, and it is a detached cover, though. It is still a detached cover. You can see that. There we go. Oh, and look at that. Our appreciation and thanks goes out to Jason, our son Simon Pennant, for his contribution to the modern rules adaptation, proofreading, as well as ongoing encouragement in sounding board skills. Bill Sylvie for his work on the 1E conversion, despite all the modern grading against his traditional Dungeon Master senses. Carl Black for his generous and Emily and Zoe for doing extra reading in quiet time while we worked long hours. So that is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. And yes, I did convert this to first edition AD&D, so you can be guaranteed that is something that you will get. No spoilers, guys. By the way, no spoilers on this bad boy. Don't ask me to give you any spoilers. All right. So what else? We have 1948. Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. 1948, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is just too cool for words and rules. So if you want to know what Lake Geneva, Wisconsin was like, it was like that back in 1948. And Eric told me he actually researched it. He actually found that stuff. Oh, that's cool, Dirty History. Yeah, something like that, unregistered. Yeah. Did I get the aimless duck dice? I don't see them. And we have another GS2 Shadows over Lake Geneva, a sanguine horror. Yes. So there are 2 modules in here. And again, we'll let you guys take a closer look at this here in just a minute. So much coolness. Again, we have detachable map in lovely non-repro blue. Let's see. There's something I'm actually specifically looking for here. Gosh, it's so weird to see my stuff in a book. So yes, I'm going to read this. I'm going to spoil a little bit of the book. This is set in the 30s. These are set like in the 30s and 40s. They've got a distinct, almost Lovecraftian horror feel to them. So even though they're converted to 1E, but you can use the 1E system in this setting. I mean, a good dungeon master is going to be able to do that. But one of the things we had to work on were firearms, right? And so I kept it simple. I grabbed my Dungeon Master's Guide and looked at the firearms section therein. And so I wrote this table. Note for the 1E Dungeon Master on firearms by Bill Sylvie. As most of the first edition rules entails those regarding fantasy campaigning, firearms are very generally not used within scenarios built around that rule set. However, as a conversion of this module is aimed at utilizing first edition rules, some consideration must be given for the application of modern firearms in a 1E framework. Very broadly, the tables in the Dungeon Master's Guide may be utilized as a template for firearms, eschewing that by this author's advice the use of field guns, Gatling-style multi-barrel firearms, dynamite, and so on. However, for the sake of simplicity, this table might be useful. So a 22, a rifle, Derringer, or revolver does 1d4 damage. Range modifiers are short +2, medium +1, long 0. A 38 revolver or semi-auto is 1d6, short +3, medium +1, long +0. A 45 revolver or semi-auto, 1d8, short +3, medium +2, long 0. Shotgun, 10 gauge or 12 gauge, 1d10 +2, short +2, medium 0, long -1. Sawn off shotgun, 1d8 +2, short +3, medium -1, long -2, submachine gun, 9mm or 45, 1d8, short +2, medium +1, long 0. And there are asterisk footnotes there. Unless otherwise noted, the rate of fire of a firearm is 2 shots per round. Reloading of a firearm requires an entire round. Regarding shotguns, a double barrel shotgun can discharge 1 barrel or both barrels simultaneously. Treat a double barrel shot as 2 separate attacks, even if aimed at the same target. A Thompson or other submachine gun fires 3 rounds with a single pull of the trigger. Treat as 3 separate attacks on the same target. So there you go. And if that just went by too fast, go buy the module. So that's a little of my contribution to Shadows over Lake Geneva, and that is a very, very cool stack of stuff. Now, the question I have for you guys, I had a hand in the writing of this. Well, wait, I had a hand in the conversion of this. Would it be ethical, do you guys think, for me to review it? Because I've already seen it. All right. I already did the conversion work on it. Do you think a review of this module would be acceptable, or do you think that would be a little unseemly since I worked on it? So you're going to have to let me know about that. You're going to have to let me know. Bob Jester says, nice preview of what to expect in the mail in the next couple of weeks. You're quite welcome, Bob. You're quite welcome. So that's a lot of cool stuff in there, though. That is a lot of cool stuff in that set. Miss Bella says, review away. Well, do I really need anybody else's permission? Spoiler alert, I don't. Lux says, it's ethical as long as I'm honest. Am I never not painfully honest with you guys? So anyway, yeah, I think a review of that will be coming. It'll be a standalone video. It'll probably be something after the first of the year. I have so many videos and so much video-related stuff. That is correct, Unregistered. I was there for the vibe. You know? It's like, yeah, you ever see a movie about, quasi-documentary, comedy, whatever, about music production in the 60s? Who's that guy over there? Oh, man, he's just here for the vibe. And so that's kind of where I was at with that. But yeah, a review's coming, but I have so much stuff coming. You guys are going to get a documentary length video from me. I mean, this thing could probably weigh in at 30 minutes or more. I could go full Nexpo or Barely Sociable on it. Some dark wave synth music in the background. Black and white footage of clouds time-lapsing through trees in the park. Me speaking in a calm monotone. But then the situation escalated. Now, it won't be anything like that. But yeah, you guys are going to get a long-form video out of me about exactly what happened in tabletop gaming in 2023. Folks, we are 3 weeks away from the end of the year. It ain't over. It ain't over by a long shot. I got a video dropping tomorrow about the state of things financially at Wizards of the Coast Hasbro. Guys, it is not over by a long shot. I thought they'd be going out on a high note with the announcement of OD&D in that history book, and maybe Lost Caverns of Sojkanth would, we get a look there. But man, let me tell you what. So an RPG rules news, or RPG news teaser about what's coming tomorrow. So, but I do have the 2023 in review video that'll drop. I can't promise, but I might try and drop it on New Year's Day. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see, because remember, 2023 started off. This year started off with WotC working in collusion with was it PBS NewsHour? I think it was PBS NewsHour, and their hit piece on Old School, and that whole mess. So we're starting there, and we're ending with what I'm going to talk about tomorrow in a video. So there's a lot that is coming in the 2023, Lux, you could be, you know what? I am going to I think a white and rice pilaf pair nicely with crow, because I'm going to have to eat some, because 6 months ago, Lux, I wouldn't have agreed. In fact, 6 months ago, I told people, look, yes, I'm talking about WotC stocks doing bad, or Hasbro stocks doing bad, but they're a multi-billion-dollar company. I've mentioned this story before, and I mention it now. I'm going to talk about this now. I'm going to do it again. Who here knows what the best-selling personal computer of all time was? And do you know the company that made it? I will wait a few passes of the crawl. It's going across the screen. It started when I first asked that question. I will wait a few passes of the crawl to see if any of you guys know the answer. Damien, you are oh my God, unregistered hypercam, Commodore 64. You guys have been eating your Wheaties. Unregistered hypercam, got it. Commodore 64. That's right. 22 million released, and I don't count the Raspberry Pi. It is a kit. If the Raspberry Pi Foundation sold a complete computer and only sold complete computers, I would believe that. It was the Commodore 64. Kabuki is always lurking here. She is ninja. Even if she's not here, she's here. So yes, it was the Commodore 64. Commodore built and sold 22 million C64s. I want to do a little math here. I want to do a quick bit of math here. And we're going to look at something. I know you are like, I was told there would be no math. We're going to have to wrap up soon. Hey, Dungeon Minister. Oh, by the way, if you guys missed this past weekend, Saturday, we did live stream Dungeon Minister, myself and Yang Yan Zhao. It's up on my channel, Nerd Council of Doom. It was so much fun, and we're going to be doing those a lot more in 2024. Love you to pieces, Father Aaron. So let's see. Okay. Independent estimates, 12.5 million and 17 million. Let's say 15 million. Let's say 15 million. I've heard as high as 22 million, but let's say 15 million. All right. They were 16 inches long, edge to edge. 3,787 miles of Commodore 64s were sold. That is coast to coast of the United States of America, folks. 3,787 miles of Commodore 64s. Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. Get your head around that. You're calling your dice amaze balls. I love it. $3,700 miles of Commodore 64s were sold. You would think that that company would be Titanic, and it was. You would think that a company like that would control the fate of computing, and it did from 1977 until 1994. '77 to '94, not even 20 years. Now, Commodore existed as far back as, I think, the 1950s. I'm just talking about Commodore computers. If you had walked into Commodore computers in 1982, right after the Commodore 64 was released, a $585 computer with 16 colors, 3 voice sound, 64 kilobytes of RAM, really 39 kilobytes of RAM, Jack, that could destroy the Apple II in terms of sheer performance. Not really. The Apple II could be sped up. The Commodore couldn't. But it was cheaper. If you had walked in and said, your company is going to be dead in 12 years, you won't even exist. I don't mean you'll be bought by IBM. I don't mean you'll merge with Apple. I don't mean you'll become a division of Atari. I mean you'll be gone. In about 9 years, you're going to poison yourselves so badly, no one will want you. You'd have been laughed out of the offices there in Westchester, Pennsylvania. And that's exactly what happened. A computer company that IBM, Atari, and Apple combined lusted after the sales figures and market share of vanished in the space of 12 years. If it can happen to them, it can absolutely happen to Hasbro, Zayres, W.T. Grant's, Sears, Kmart, American Motors. Everyone has forgotten to have the forcibly hired and made to work you for zero money person standing on their chariot as they ride through downtown Rome, whispering in their ears, all glory is fleeting. All glory is fleeting. They forgot. Commodore forgot. Hell, Atari forgot. Radio Shack once made a computer so popular, it literally controlled the personal computer market for 4 or 5 years between the 8 and 16-bit eras, the Tandy. You go buy a game, Tandy graphics. Because it kind of had Commodore 64-esque sound and graphics capabilities married IBM PC-like architecture. And speaking of IBM, they don't make computer hardware anymore. They sold it off just to try and stay alive. There hasn't been an M at IBM in over a decade. If you think, as I did 6 months ago, that Hasbro is too big to fail, watch tomorrow's video. Watch tomorrow's video. I'm not saying sell all your Hasbro stock, but we're going to look at some charts as best as I can understand them. We're going to look at some charts. And boys and girls, I'm here to tell you something. If you're going to stand on the ashes and cheer, if that happens, if you're going to jump up and down and say, hey, we won, this is good for us. And I'm not saying Hasbro has been good for us or Wizards of the Coast. I want you to think about where D&D could be if it was in the hands of, say, Microsoft, which frankly I think is where we're headed. Or worse, Tencent, a company run by the Chinese government. You got trouble getting first edition AD&D reprints now. There's no good outcome for Dungeons and Dragons out of the death of Hasbro. And guys, look, I have tried to tell this to you before. I hope you're not sitting there going, well, I have my group and I don't care. There's no next generation if it just becomes an IP for computer games and movies. You look around one day in your group, maybe some of your group came from 5th edition or 4th edition or 3rd edition. Maybe you'll say, okay, well, I've got DCC, or I've got Hackmaster, or I've got Hyperborea, or I've got Osric, or whatever. Go back to my Commodore analogy. I was an Amiga user in 1994, and all of my Amiga users went full Cassandra. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. No, people are going to keep developing software, but there's too many of them in the market. It was too good of a computer. Somebody will buy it. Everything's fine. Relax. Nope. A little bit of both, Derek. A little bit of both. Words of caution, guys. Be careful what you wish for. I'm not saying I want Hasbro Wizards of the Coast to sail along and continue to tighten their grip. The contentious jerks that they have been all year long. I'm just saying that setting fire to our ship to get rid of a few rats may not be the smartest thing. But of course, I want to hear from you guys about it. You can leave a comment down below. You can contact me on social media, _Dungeon Delver, over on Twitter. The Delver's Dungeon is over on Facebook. I don't look at that. I should look at that more. Facebook's kind of a ghost town, but hell, it could buoy back up. Who knows? But again, we'll see what things are like when we get there. So, like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. Will we play first edition AD&D? We'll have to see. We'll definitely, almost certainly have a roundtable and talk to the guys about what they want to do. We just finished up our Keep on the Borderlands campaign. That was a lot of fun. A lot of you guys tuned in for it. I'll have an interstitial video tomorrow. The Doom and Gloom, it's coming. Prepare yourselves. Yeah, it's a good one, Wave. The metaverse. Oof. But anyway, look, guys. Holidays are coming. Let's stay positive. Concentrate on the positive stuff. Enjoy with your loved ones. Be good to each other. Because at the end of the day, guys, we're all we got. Peace to you all. Be well. And leave some eggnog and cookies out for the owl bear. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.